Support provided by the Chesapeake and Newport News with chef-centric farm-to-table dining. thechesapeake.org. Hi friends, Jay Sennett. Welcome to another edition of Cooking with Jay here in the Jazz Kitchen. Hope all of you are doing well. Today I'm going to prepare for you one of my favorite dishes, particularly favorite Asian dishes. You usually find it in a Chinese restaurant. Orange chicken. And it's a dish that's deceptively simple to make because there are some subtle things that have to be in place. You know, the temperature of your oil, for example. How you get the crispy texture on the chicken pieces. Okay, so let me tell you how I make this. I get some chicken breast, boneless chicken breast, skinless chicken breast, dice them up in fairly little pieces. But first, what I do after I dice up that, I season the chicken with some salt, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and some garlic powder, okay? Then I get a couple of eggs, and I add about a tablespoon and a half of cornstarch with those eggs. Whip up, beat the eggs until the cornstarch is mixed in well, like a creamy texture with the eggs. Then I add the chicken pieces to the eggs and the cornstarch. And it looks something like that, okay? And then I let it sit. You know, I just pulled it out of the refrigerator to get it, try to get it at room temperature. I let it sit for about 10-15 minutes in this mixture here. In this bowl, we have flour. I have about a cup and a half of flour in here. I have about a tablespoon of cornstarch, and I have about a small teaspoon of baking powder. Now you might say, or ask, why is there baking powder in this? Well, see, baking powder is interesting because it kind of acts like salt. The alkalines in baking powder kind of work the same way that salt does, to extract some of the moisture out of your protein, okay? And what does that do? When you're frying this, when you have it in hot oil, it helps to form a crispier texture. That baking powder adds to helping the crispier texture on the protein, okay? So I want to turn this fire up a little bit here. I'm using vegetable oil and to heat this up. I'm not using olive oil because the smoke point is higher. So you want to get it to the oil where it's like about 350 degrees. So pretty hot oil, almost to the smoking point. Okay, so this chicken has been sitting in here. Now what I'm going to do is add the chicken to the flour. Okay, this flour mixture. And it's a messy venture, okay? You're going to get your hands. You can try to do it with spoons, but you know, this flour and the cornstarch and the baking powder, you're going to make a mess. Okay, but you want to make sure that you get all the chicken pieces coated in this flour cornstarch mixture. Okay, and as I said, it gets over everything. Including all over your hands. Turn that on. And it's sticky on your hands because of the egg and the flour. Okay. All right. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to pour this mixture right here in a colander and come around here a little bit. Get this off my hands. Okay. All right, so over the garbage. Get the bits and pieces of, get that flour, the excess flour off that chicken and out of here. Oops, there's always one piece that will get away. Okay. All right, so it's not all going to come out of here, but all right, let's test this oil. That oil's pretty doggone hot. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Woo. Okay. Break the pieces up in here. So the chicken will stick together. High heat. Now, while the chicken is cooking, okay, in here I have the zest of an orange, and I have about a cup of orange juice. Now I want to add a little bit of, where's my little trusty little spoon? Right there. Add some ginger, some freshly grated ginger in here. Add some rice wine vinegar, about a tablespoon. Okay, I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. All right, and a couple of tablespoons of brown sugar. Turn this heat on. Okay, now I want to get that to where it's bubbly. All right, the chicken is starting to cook well, and it'll absorb a lot of that oil. Okay. Now, I'm going to create a slurry. Add about a tablespoon of cornstarch, a couple of tablespoons of orange juice, okay. Alright, and this is starting to boil a little bit, lightly boil. This is the orange sauce mixture that eventually will go in there and mix over the chicken. Okay. Some of that flour mixture breaks off in here. It's okay. But you can feel how crispy it is when you're stirring this chicken. It's getting a nice brown texture to it. And like I said, this dish kind of deceptively simple, right? It seems simple, but you got to get the right temperature. You got to get that batter right on your chicken pieces, and of course, flavor. Flavor. That's number one with me. Flavor. How does your food taste? Okay, that's it for me, man. Flavor. I want this to start boiling a little bit more. Then I will add the slurry with the orange juice and cornstarch. chicken is cooking beautifully, and if you notice, that oil is almost gone. And some of that batter is coming off some of the chicken pieces, but that's okay. All right, now I'm going to add this slurry. What does the slurry do? It will start to thicken, of course. Stir well. Reduce some of this heat. La la la. Yeah, chicken's just about done. It is. So what am I going to do next? I'm going to take this over the garbage. Chicken. Okay, I'll put that back in there. Okay, now I'm going to add smell the orange. Oh, this is what I like. Okay. Make sure the sauce coats it all. And it's time for a taste test. Talk about flavor. That flavor is right on point. Okay? So, move this over here so you can get a better look at this. That's the orange chicken. And what I'd like to do is also toss some scallions over it like so. Orange chicken. That is, it's just like flour. When you use cornstarch, it gets over everything, folks. All right, everything. It's a messy dish, truly a messy dish, but it's a delicious dish. Okay, a delicious dish. That's what's on the menu tonight for this edition of Cooking with Jay. Orange chicken. And if you've made it before, if you've never made it, again, some of the tricky parts, getting that batter to stick to the chicken pieces. I use eggs, beat a couple of eggs, some cornstarch, add a little baking powder in there as well. Helps add to the crispiness. Then I add, you want to get that oil. I use vegetable oil, get it to where it's pretty hot, at least 350 degrees. I'm Jay Sennett. Hope you enjoyed this edition of Cooking with Jay, which airs Sundays starting at 6 on WHRO Public Media Facebook page. Okay, you can see archive editions of the show at the WHRO Public Media YouTube channel. Okay, don't forget Senate in Session Jazz on WHRV-FM Monday through Thursday nights, 9 to 1, Saturday mornings 1 until 5, Sunday afternoons from 1 until 5, and the R&B Chronicles Friday nights from 7 until 8, both on WHRV-FM. Thanks to the Chesapeake for underwriting. Be safe, friends, until the next edition of Cooking with Jay. We'll see you then. Be safe.
Support provided by the Chesapeake in Newport News, catering to the palate of every single resident. More at thechesapeake.org.